What you see in front of you is a sand painting from the Southwest. The figure that you're seeing here, this figure is a coyote god. Coyote's a trickster figure, so perhaps it's appropriate that we use old Wile E. Coyote for a discussion of deal vehicles. Now, let's suppose that I'm an artist and I'm making a coyote sand painting like this one. What I basically do is I have a board, as you can see on the back, and I lay that board down, well, I'll do it this way, and I dribble sand of different colors in specific shapes to make the sand painting. And the design of the painting as an artist is mine. It may be culturally handed down, but the specifics of it is mine. That means it's my creation, ironically. You can consider that your intellectual property. It's copyright. There it is. It's a design that's copyrighted. Let's say that. Now, let's say somebody comes along and says, well, you're not really doing these for spiritual reasons anymore. You're selling this to tourists. I have a great idea. We can make these by the thousands using direct numerical control machinery. And I'm like, wow, that's kind of cool. But I don't know anything about direct numerical control machinery. How are we going to do that? Let's go to a flip now that we've seen before, the flip of synergies. What you have here is, I'm the artist. I understand what the market wants, so I have the market familiarity. You're the technology guy. You're coming in, you understand how the direct numerical control machinery can work. It's a situation where we both need each other. Neither one of us has everything we need to go forward. If I was wise in the way of direct numerical control machinery, I might buy a machine from you or in-license it. I might be down there in that area called control, but I'm not, so I need to partner. Similarly, you don't know about the market for art. You're just a manufacturer of direct control machinery, or somebody who's a machinist who's been using it, who has the idea maybe you can use it for art. So while you have pretty solid technical knowledge, you don't have all the technical knowledge about how precisely this should look, although you could program it once I give you the design. So you need, and you also don't know the market and how to sell it, so you need to partner with me. And the same thing that's true of this piece of art is true of deals for technology in general. So the synergies are really, in the way that you choose a deal vehicle, has to do with how you want to maximize income while controlling risk. And basically what we have is, if we go to the next flip, which is a flip of transaction vehicles, which we've also seen before, we can see that if I have no knowledge about how to do direct numerical control machinery, but I have, let me pull this back so you can see me here, hold on. There we go. Yeah, hi, it's really me here. Okay, where was I now? Yeah, let's suppose that what we're doing here is, I have this great idea. I'm going to make a machine that does sand paintings like this, and I'm going to make it on the fly so I can do them uniquely and make up hundreds of them, and then I'll do another one and make up hundreds. I got the idea. I was sitting in the dentist chair and the dentist said, I can make a crown for you here, and I watched and they made a crown on this funny little machine. And I'm thinking, I have this great idea. I can replicate this in certain ways. I develop a concept, but I've done nothing about it so far. So I just have all this knowledge on my hands, and I'm going to try to transfer it to somebody else. Now, how much of the knowledge I transfer will depend upon the kind of, or how much I'm willing to transfer will depend upon, will determine the kind of deal, rather, that I'm interested in doing. So, for example, if I was still interested in staying in the business of making sand paintings, I might not want to transfer all my knowledge on how to do it, all my know-how. I only may want to transfer a little bit so people can make the schlock paintings, but not the really good ones. Similarly, I may only give them a certain level of control over use. You can make sand paintings of the coyote god, but you can't make other ceremonial sand paintings, which is probably the case if I am a spiritual person and I believe in the power of my sand paintings. So that you can see how control comes into the deal. So we've got the second factor now. The first factor of choosing a deal type is risk, and the second factor is control. Let's go down and let's look at another flip. Okay, the flip before you on the lower dimension says how stable is the dominant design. The dominant design, let's come back. Hi, the dominant design is basically the way we do things, the core technology that we use, and the features and functionalities and performances and ease of use, all this bundle that we come to expect when we use something. That's the dominant design for a technology. If I'm thinking about a computer, there's a dominant design. It has a screen, it has an input device, it has some memory and a CPU. Doesn't matter whether it's a PDA I'm looking at, a little PDA like that, or a notebook computer like this. Same thing, screen, keyboard to input, or an input device anyways, CPU in there and so on, or it's a big server or anything else. We recognize a computer because it has sort of these features and functionalities that are associated with it and a way of working with it, a ease of use, a certain understanding of how we work with it. Anyways, why is this important? Well, when the dominant design in a practice is stable, then we can really answer the 5 W's. The who's doing it, what are they doing it, where are they doing it, why are they doing it, when are they doing it. That's a stable answer, and the more stable that is, the easier it is to design products that meet precisely those needs, and thus we can begin to reduce risk and we can move to different types of deal vehicles in order to maximize our revenue while controlling our risk. Similarly, we want to look at how mature the technology is. Let's go back to my sand painting example here. Suppose I've just come up with the idea but nothing else. I may want to transfer this all to somebody who can realize the dream I had, because I don't know how to realize the dream. I may find a graduate student. My son goes to the local university and realizes this dream, or my daughter goes there and realizes this dream. As we move towards more mature technologies, we're getting to where we understand the principles better, and we have like maybe a little benchtop prototype, wires hanging out for making a new type of machine that can put the sand down. Then I can begin to look at CRADAs, cooperative research and development agreements, or joint ventures, things like that, because each party is bringing some intellectual property that's somewhat mature, and each party, and we're shooting rather for an application which we know will be there when we get done. The tourist market's not going away, so we can afford to develop something that's a little bit longer term. Similar with venture capital, we decide we're going to do it ourselves. We have the know-how. We've kept control from that first flip where we're talking about control. We've kept that in ourselves, and we're going to share it with people who invest in our company. We're going to keep the whole field of use for ourselves of making art like this. And we can see how this moves out till you finally get to sales, where you say, oh, here it is, you want to buy it? Boop, you take it off the shelf and you buy it. Now, which deal vehicle you will choose depends upon what your goals are, as we saw in the last session, and also on the goals of the people that you're licensing or selling to or joint venturing with, the target, the potential partner, on their goals. And it will also depend on what's going on in the marketplace, how fast you got to get there, and what makes the most sense. So there you are. The choice of deal vehicle is going to depend on your goals, the goals of your targets, and what's happening in the marketplace, and how mature your technology is, and how stable the application that you're going into is, how stable that dominant design is. With that introduction, seems like we're doing a lot of introductions, doesn't it? Well, anyways, with this second introduction, we're going to go forward now, and in the next couple of sessions, we're going to look at specific deal vehicles in more detail.